Now, there's another question by another fan, which is asking about tactical drops and retired dismissals or retired outs. How practical is that moving forward in T20? Do you think that there will be a stage where this will happen, or do you think that how batsmen are taught from the beginning and from the earlier stages that you have to value your wicket, that it will not happen? How practical do you think it is?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, and it's something that I've written about before, and I've said it might happen in the future. But well, there are two. Let me address them one by one. Retiring out, for me, if I was actually a lawmaker, I would not make that legal. I think it would be. I think it's part of the interest of the game. It's part of the challenge from an individual, mental, technical, skillful perspective to have a player out there and struggling, and it places an emphasis on strategy for teams to get it right. If you can just pull a player out and it becomes so normalized to do that, I think that robs something from the game from a strategy perspective. I think it's an interesting idea. And I think, if it was to become commonplace, I think there would be certainly times that I, as an analyst, would like it to see it happen, because there are certainly times when players are struggling and you've got a better matchup in the hutch. I don't think it should happen. Tactical drops as well, they're similar in that basically they're encouraging players to do things that they're not fundamentally used to. I think tactical drops are possibly more likely to sort of catch on than retiring out. But even then, it goes against how sportsmen operate. It's almost an instinct to take that catch. And I don't know, it's a difficult one, because that one is more of a gray area about, if they start doing that, it's very difficult to make that legal or not legal, because how do you know if they meant to do it or not? It's something that would certainly be worth doing if you've got a player struggling in the situation that I'm talking about, when the batting side might want to retire him out and he skies one in the air, and you've got Andre Russell sitting in the dugout. It would certainly benefit the fielding side not to take that catch. It's something that it's an interesting conversation, and I think a dressing room whereby you could do it and players accepted it would be a very open-minded one, and one that I'd be fascinated to work within, because I think that would create a huge number of possibilities for other strategies and tactics. But whether it will happen, I remain skeptical. I just don't think players are wired like that, really.
Also, I think, if that ever happens, there's going to be a huge debate about the spirit of cricket, which happens on a lot of, I'd say, inconsequential things, which are much well within the rules, than something like this, where you're dropping a batsman just because, and then once it starts becoming normalized, how do you know it's not a part of spot fixing as well, when when you have an allegation? So it's quite an interesting topic to get into. But,
it's a complex issue, full stop. You get yourself into the weedy issue of motivation and what was he trying to do? Was he trying to catch it? Was he not? And it's something you can't ever prove or disprove, really. It's an interesting topic, and something that, as I said, I find it hard to see it catching on as a result of the number of complexities that are involved in something like that. That's not to say, it's not to say it doesn't happen. I imagine I bet there are players who've done it before, who've dropped a catch to keep a player in, who's struggling. Whether it sort of becomes a commonplace thing or a team directive, I don't know.
You also have to fake it very carefully, because, like I said, if it comes out that you've tactically dropped it, then there's going to be a whole spirit of cricket debate.